Okay, it is 11 o'clock. We will call this meeting back to order. Actually, before I do that, Commissioner Yamamoto, are you with us? I think we will hold until David returns. Sorry for the false start. I was thinking we were
There might have been a delay when I unclicked the mic and the camera.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so we will call this meeting back to order at 11 a.m. Thank you very much. Appreciate the brief recess. And we will start again at item number 16, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of justices of the peace pro tem for 1 calendar year, January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023. We have Ryan Cannell, Justice of the Peace, with us today. Good morning, Ryan.
Hi, can you guys hear me all right?
We can.
Outstanding. So this is our annual renewal of our pro tems. We have 4 pro tems, Denise Harrington, Dustin Johnson, Matthew Lyon, and Dennis Wine. Pro tems cover a variety of hearings. Just to kind of give a quick run through of what we use them for. Denise Harrington runs our Spanish court. Once a month we have court in Spanish. She's a Spanish speaker. And so we're able to provide a lot of access to justice for non-English speakers through our Spanish court. If I go on vacation or go to conferences to keep the court running and just the day-to-day hearings going, especially given some of the timelines, we'll bring in pro tems to cover those hearings. If there are cases that I have a conflict on and have to recuse myself, then we bring in pro tems to cover those cases. Occasionally, in just day-to-day existence, things come up that require me to recuse myself off of a case due to the ethical rules. The example that came to mind and made me think of this is if I had a bunch of ex parte communication about a pending solid waste violation that I got to hear from numerous witnesses, as well as the group of people who ultimately determine what my budget is. I probably shouldn't sit on that case anymore. And so that's and things like that happen from time to time. Prior to becoming Justice of the Peace, I was practicing law in Tillamook for almost a decade. So I have people who I can't hear their cases, who love me and who hate me. And so when we have cases like that, I'll also bring in pro tems. And one of the things that is really useful about this particular group of pro tems is that I've worked with them for a long time. I have a lot of trust and faith in them. They have my absolute trust, and it makes it very easy for me when I have a case. I have no qualms ever just being like, we can have a pro tem handle this. And so it's very, very helpful for me to have these guys around. So yeah, that's what I got.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Judge. So questions or comments, commissioners?
I'm grateful that these folks are willing to serve.
Commissioner Yamamoto.
No, Ryan, this is something that we do every year, and there are times when you can't hear a case, and so we do use pro tems. Having a Spanish speaker is terrific. It really is for Tillamook County. So you're covering all the bases, and we appreciate it very much.
Excellent, thank you, and I agree. I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 22-071 in the matter of appointment of justices of the peace pro tem for 1 calendar year, January 1st through the December 31st, 2023.
I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate or don't. You're adults. Make your own decisions. Maximize your own happiness.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, moving on to item 17, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of a notice of intent to award a contract for the Memaloose Boat Ramp Dredging Project. We have Joanne Wolfley, Director of Parks, with us today. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we're actually coming down the straight stretch now on getting the Memaloose Boat Launch dredging project started. We did put the call for bids out, and we did receive 2 bids, and we are wanting to award the bid, or do an intent, I should say, to award the bid to Billiter Marine for $216,154.92. So I'm asking for your guys' approval on putting the intent to award out.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments, commissioners?
As a number of people know, this has been a long process to get the permitting to do the dredging at Memaloose. I believe Joanne filed for the permits first in 2019 during COVID, and it's just been very arduous getting through the process. And so I feel like it might be early to do a victory dance, but I plan to do one when the dredging actually gets done. I'm thrilled that we're at this point in the project, so thank you, Joanne.
That's perfect, and I agree. So, Joanne, any idea, once this bid is awarded, when they might get this project started and when they might complete?
Our in-water work window is November the 15th of this year, 2022, to November the 1st through February the 15th of 2023. So, that's not very long from now, just a couple months.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, super. I think we are definitely all looking forward to this as, someone who is somewhat embedded in the fisherman community. It's been a tough go, and we're just excited to have this happen. So we're looking for a motion. Keep it moving.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 22-072 in the matter of a notice of intent to award a contract for the Memaloose Boat Ramp Dredging Project.
And I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Okay, the next 3 items are all in relation to budget officer, and I see that we have our treasurer, so I'll start with the first one. Discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of a budget officer for Tillamook County for fiscal year 2023-2024. Sean Blanchard, treasurer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, before you, this is just a yearly appointment of me to the budget officer for Tillamook County.
Perfect. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
You are the ideal budget officer.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No one else wanted it.
I'm sorry, I lost my video, or my audio there, but I think I understood what happened there.
Yeah, it's
So-
your turn to make any comments or questions relating to Sean as our budget officer. Or to,
But she was too quick, I just couldn't get it all. So, yeah, no, he's the perfect person to be the budget officer, fiscal year 23-24.
perfect, and I am absolutely in agreement. So with that, I think we're ready for the motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 22-073 in the matter of the appointment of Sean Blanchard as budget officer for Tillamook County for fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
And I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. All right, item number 19, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of the county treasurer as the solid waste service district budget officer for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Again, Commissioners, this is just a yearly appointment of me as the budget officer for the Solid Waste Service District.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for being willing to serve in that capacity.
No one better.
Okay, perfect. I think we are ready for a motion there as well.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 22-074, Solid Waste Service District number 22-006 in the matter of the appointment of the county treasurer as the Solid Waste Service District budget officer for fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
We have a motion and a premature second.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. I know you want to help us move this meeting along, so that's.
Your audio keeps breaking up on me, so I'm interjecting when I think I should. And that one is a little premature, sorry.
Yeah, well, you've done pretty well so far. Okay. So discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of the 4-H and Extension Service Budget Officer for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Again, good morning. When Troy Downing retired from the 4-H Extension Office, they went through some turnover, and it just made more sense as I'm the county's budget officer and also the Solid Waste Service District to be the 4-H Extension, although Wiley Thompson and Kim Luth do an excellent job putting their budget together and their meetings.
Perfect, thank you.
Again, thank you for being willing to serve.
Yeah, Sean, you don't have enough to do, so I appreciate you taking on these extra tasks.
No problem.
I move approval of order number 22-075, 4-H and extension number 22-005 in the matter of the appointment of the 4-H and Extension Service Budget Officer for fiscal year 2023 to 2024. To you, David.
Oh, okay, I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Wonderful. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, item number 21, discussion and consideration of the Association of Oregon Counties Conference Product Tasting Donation Thank You Letters to the Blue Heron, French Cheese Company, Pelican Brewery, Tillamook Creamery, and Werner Gourmet Meat Snacks. Isabel Gilda, Executive Assistant, Board of Commissioners. Good morning.
Thank you, Commissioners. For the record, Isabel Gilda, Executive Assistant, Board of Commissioners Office. Before you today for consideration are the thank you letters to 4 local companies who recently donated products to the Association of Oregon Counties Conference Product Tasting event this year. For those not familiar with the event, each year the Commissioners attend the annual conference in Eugene. And at the end of this conference, there's a special event called the Taste of Oregon. This is where each county attending the conference is invited to showcase and promote samples of products that are made locally in their county. And I think we've been doing this for the last 10, 12 years, from my recollection. Anyway, this year, due to the generous donation from the Pelican Brewery, Werner Gourmet Meats, Tillamook Creamery, and the Blue Heron, Tillamook County was able to participate in the event and promote and share their products again this year. And these letters are just to thank these companies for their donations. They're very generous donations. And this year we had some special products, the Sparkle Hops. Yeah. Which thanks to Commissioner Bell was a recommendation. They were highly popular.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get again those next year.
Thank you, Isabel.
Oh, you're welcome.
That is a very fun event. Thank you to you and to Debbie for helping, for staffing the event, for being there and representing us. Our fellow commissioners from around the state look forward to visiting the Tillamook County booth because of the generous donations of local businesses. So I am happy to sign these letters, and I'm truly, deeply grateful to the local businesses who donated their products, and hopefully it helps them in terms of marketing and more exposure for their products. And in particular, you were saying that Pelican just recently unveiled a new non-alcoholic product that we served at that tasting, and it's hops made, or sparkling water made from with hops, and it was very popular. You're right, it was very popular,
yeah.
Because there weren't a lot of alcohol-free options.
Absolutely.
And so
I think
yeah.
maybe just the only one.
Yeah, so they got a lot of exposure, and people really appreciated it, and we're really grateful to be able to share the bounty of Tillamook County with commissioners from other counties.
It's a very popular table
Yes, it
at
is.
the conference.
Commissioner Yamamoto.
So it is so great to get AOC back to full participation in person for our annual conference. And of course, the product tasting is the highlight of the 3-day AOC annual conference event. And Tillamook County, as always, does well. We thank all the companies that participated and very generous in their donations. But I also want to thank in particular Isabel and Deb for all the work that they did to set the booth up and man the booth. The commissioners were flitting around and doing things the commissioners do. This is always the highlight of the event, and it went really well as usual. And again, Tillamook County was one of the champions of this event. So we appreciate everything that our companies in Tillamook County do for us as well as our staff.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I would just add my thanks both to the companies who have donated and to our staff as well. It is a great event, and it doesn't happen by itself, so just appreciate everyone who participates in making that, so. I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Association of Oregon Counties Conference Product Tasting Donation Thank You Letters to the Blue Heron French Cheese Company, Pelican Brewery, Tillamook Creamery, and Werner Gourmet Meat Snacks.
And I would say,
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you so much, Isabel. Okay, moving on to item number 20. Item number 22, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of designating liaison responsibilities for the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners for 2023. William K. Sargent from the
Thank you very
council.
much. As the board is well aware, every year, at the end of the year, you decide who you're going to be liaisons to, what departments you're going to be the primary contact for, and that's what this order does. I know that the board discussed this at a board briefing, and there was some movement that I presume I didn't check is reflected in this order. So it's just a matter of you're saying, I'm going to come to primarily with something important.
Thank you. Commissioner.
This is, as Bill said, an annual process. We have, commissioners have liaison responsibilities, and those are relationships that we have working with those departments, but also other boards and organizations in the community. And so folks are welcome to check out the list on the website and see if you, for example, you want to talk to somebody about solid waste. You can look on the list and see I'm the liaison for Public Works and Solid Waste. And you could start with me. So that's the value of it to the public, is that you know who the primary contact is.
And again, I didn't hear anything, but I think it is going to me. So again, this is something that was done in the public process. We discussed these in the board briefing recently. And I'm in full support of the current liaison list as presented.
Perfect, thank you, and I agree. I think one of the things that sometimes the public may not be aware of is that Tillamook County does not have a county administrator that oversees all departments, but instead you have 3 commissioners, each of whom have responsibilities for multiple departments. So we actually serve in that management capacity with those department heads. So it's just a different model than you see in some other parts of the state, and it's one that we appreciate the opportunity to be very knowledgeable about our departments as well as those outside organizations. I was going through mine, and I think I sit on 13 different boards as a representative of Tillamook County to ensure that as those organizations are doing their work, they're well informed in what's happening in our county and how the county can either support them or just ensure that the work they're doing is very representative of what we can see the needs to be. So it's what we do. So I think we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 22-076 in the matter of designating liaison responsibilities for the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners for 2023.
And I would second.
So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of the chair and vice chair to the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners for 2023. Bill.
Another end of the year custom and practice is a rotation of the board's responsibilities in terms of who's going to be the chair and vice chair for the upcoming year. And David is going to last by way of this order. If you sign it another week or so, and then Commissioner Scar will assume the chairman chairperson's role, commencing the first of next year.
Okay, thank you. And our vice chair will be,
It will be Commissioner Bell.
I just thought since we're appointing both, we'd let you say
And,
that. So.
and as you know, the chair has certain responsibilities in terms of agenda items and things like that, and running the meetings, so it's a good thing to rotate around. That's the way it's been done as long as I've been around, I'm sure before I was here too.
Perfect, thank you. Comments or questions, Commissioners?
I think it's a good system. I think it's good that it rotates so that we all get an opportunity to serve in that capacity.
Agreed. Commissioner Yamamoto, comments?
And I concur. It's just that I've had the best of both worlds. When I'm away like this, I'm chair, but I turn the chair responsibilities over to someone actually in the room. So the vice chair currently, Commissioner Stark, handles those duties. So I've got the best of both worlds. At least for this is the last meeting, and so I'll be able to take advantage of that. But I appreciate you both. I really do.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, and I agree. I appreciate that it's a rotation. In other commissions, it's actually elected by the commissioners themselves. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it rotates among the multiple commissioners in the room. And I appreciate that we do, that we all get the opportunity to share the load. I found out today the other thing I apparently get to decide is working with Public Works and our sheriff and our emergency managers, whether we have a weather emergency and how that relates to the county and its work. So there are other funny little chair duties you might not think about, but Commissioner Yamamoto was kind enough to call me this morning and let me know that I was also filling in for him on that one, so thanks
Which
for
we
that.
will talk about at the board briefing.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Perfect,
Yeah.
yes, perfect. So, all right, I think with that, we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, move approval of order number 22-077 in the matter of the appointment of the chair and vice chair to the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners for 2023.
And I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item number 24. Discussion and consideration of a letter of engagement and standard terms of engagement with Peck, Rubinoff, and Hatfield for the continuing legal representation of Tillamook County. Rachel Haggerty, Chief of Staff.
Good morning, or almost good afternoon. In October, the county put out an advertisement for a request for proposals for labor attorney services to explore options. We've been with the same provider for quite some time, and so we thought it just might be good to see what other options might be afforded to us. We received 3 submittals after an interview process and lengthy discussion. The board selected Peck, Rubinoff, Hatfield, which is our current provider. So on December 7th, we presented to you a notice of intent to award, which was executed. The protest period has passed, and before you is consideration of their contract. Excuse me.
Thank you. Questions or comments, Commissioners?
I'll just say that I think it was a good process. I think it was good that we looked at options and we had a chance to talk about our vision for labor relations moving forward, and we look forward to working with Jenny Marsden, who is an attorney with Peck, Rubinoff, and Hatfield, and so I think I feel good about it, and it was the most reasonably priced.
Commissioner Yamamoto?
Yeah, so we have a long-standing relationship with Peck Rubinoff, and it was good that we went out and really looked just to see what the market really was out there, who was available, what their pricing structures were, things of that nature. So it was a good process, and I think we settled on a good avenue forward. So I am in full support here.
Perfect, and I would agree. It was a good process. It was an opportunity to see the difference between a very large firm and something that is more of I'm going to call it a boutique firm, and to understand the differences in how we interact, and to have multiple staff at Peck, Rubinoff, and Hatfield that we can work with is really fantastic. We look forward to having Jenny Marsden come and do our bargaining with us in the upcoming bargaining session that we will have coming with AFSCME. So it was a really, again, a good process, and good for us to really understand what was in the market and what we had available to us and how to best use those resources, as well as to look at pricing structures and understand how much more expensive it could be out there if we were to, to try to look at something else. So I think it's a good balance. Yeah, so I'm ready for a motion if you are.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a letter of engagement and standard terms of engagement with Peck, Rubinoff, and Hatfield for continuing legal representation of Tillamook County.
And I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. All right, we will now take up our unscheduled item, which is discussion and consideration of addendum number 1 to the sale agreement between Audra Jean Raw and Tillamook County, and Rachel Hegarty will present.
And I just put the document there.
Okay.
On December 7th, the Board of Commissioners executed a sale agreement to purchase the Audra Raw property. It's 46 acres off of McCormick Loop Road within the city of Tillamook's urban growth boundary. Our goals are to foster housing development and diversify the county's investment portfolio. So we're currently working through the due diligence process, which entails a lot of different items in that, and reviewing the preliminary title report. We've identified some items that warrant an addendum. So before you today is consideration of addendum 1, which has been approved by the seller, and it's ready for your consideration. Going through the noteworthy items, we are working with a consultant to conduct the phase 1 assessment. That consultant has identified the need to conduct soil sampling, and so this provision authorizes us as the buyer to conduct those investigations in the soil. Also, part of the phase 1, the consultant is requiring, which is customary, a questionnaire on his knowledge of past practices or past uses of the property, other practices that might have occurred on the property, and to complete that questionnaire by December 16th. He's done that. It's attached as an exhibit to this addendum. Also, the preliminary title report identified some uncertainty of the property boundary, and so we're requiring the seller to complete a survey of the property. There was also thoughts that there was an agricultural lease that occurred on the property, and digging into that, it was determined that there was a verbal lease with a farmer, and that is presented in here as being terminated and is no longer in effect. So that cleans up that concern, or our need to carry that lease beyond closing. For our intended uses of the property, we are looking to secure access from 2 locations. There is one potential to the north through county-owned property. It's not the ideal location, and so we're looking at a secondary location which would actually go through a private parcel off of Maroff Loop. And so this provision, number 5, requires that the seller secures that secondary easement, but we are providing to the seller the terms of what we would look for in that easement with it, et cetera. And so that is going well. And then lastly, identified in the preliminary title report was an oil, gas, and mineral lease, and we were all surprised at that, but we found that is actually no longer in effect, and so this cleans up that as well. So everything is moving well. This is just cleaning up a few items to keep us all on the same page with the seller. It's ready for consideration.
Perfect, thank you. Questions or concerns, commissioners?
I don't have concerns. I think it's exciting. It's an exciting possibility for the county, and I appreciate Rachel's work on it. As Rachel said, this is an opportunity. Our intention is to invest in this property, so we're using revenue that's currently in an investment portfolio. We're investing in real property with the intention of holding it until such a time as a developer presents themselves and says, hey, we're looking for property that can be developed in Tillamook. And also there's a gap there in terms of the city's ability to provide water, et cetera, but we will have the property, and the vision is we will have the property that the water development will move forward with the city of Tillamook, and at some point this property is going to be available for residential development, which I think is wonderful. And when I think about the Brookfield neighborhood and that what we really need here are more neighborhoods like the Brookfield neighborhood, and this could be that.
Thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto?
Well, I would absolutely concur. This is a great opportunity for the county to become involved with, even though I will say right up front that the county does not want to become a developer. Not our intent in this property, but taking it off the market and until we can work on getting sewer and water out to the property. It's already within the city of Tillamook urban growth boundary, which is terrific. There's just not that much land available that we can develop for residential use. And so that's why this made so much sense, at the same time diversifying our investment portfolio. Currently with the IGP accounts, whatever that account is, making just over 3% interest, this is also a good investment. So I think it's great. This addendum, looking at the questionnaire for the environmental questionnaire and all, just something that needs to be done in any sale agreement when you begin with real estate. So again, I appreciate County Council and especially Rachel Haggerty for really keeping us on the up and up with all of this, making sure there's not going to be any problems in the future as we continue towards closing of this property.
Perfect, thank you. And I think, one of the reasons for the county to step in is to make this property more developer ready. And one of the things that developers really dislike is any uncertainty. And so for us to go through and solve these problems as may seem as simple as there's, an uncertainty on a property line and a survey has to be done. But for a developer to come in, they want it to be ready to go. They don't want to go through those. It costs them time and money. So it's a part of the steps for us to make it developer ready. So I'm very excited that the county is able to take this step and diversify our portfolio while really providing hopefully some greater good to our community. So I appreciate very much everyone who's working on it in the background to make it happen.
If I can, David gave county council a plug. That gives me an opportunity to give a plug to the gentleman who's really doing most of the legal work, and he's doing a superlative job. That's Michael Cattell. So I'm glad that the board decided to put him to work because it has been a really complicated process, and he has really stayed on top of it, working with your chief of staff and me and Ms. Asher. So I appreciate the plug, David, but I'm gonna defer to Mr. Cattell. He's really doing a hell of a job.
I keep trying, Bill.
All right.
Land use law is a whole nother animal, as we all know here when we end up with appeals in front of us and working through land use law. So we do appreciate Mr. Cattell's expertise in making sure that we don't run afoul of something here. Okay, I think with that we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of addendum number 1 to the sale agreement between Atragene Raw and Tillamook County.
Now a second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. All right, thank you. Okay, do we have any board concerns?
No concerns. I just want to say happy holidays to everyone who's watching.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto?
I also want to wish everyone listening, and even if you're not listening, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Rachel, Bill, I'm not sure, can I mention what happened this morning with Senator Merkley's office?
Yes, that's public knowledge, Commissioner.
Public knowledge, perfect. So we got notification, it actually came in yesterday. We got notification yesterday from Senator Merkley's office that in the omnibus appropriations bill, Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden were able to place in that bill a $3 million grant for continuing development of the county's fiber backbone for internet, and additional $2 million for work on our Tillamook County new communication system that we're developing in Tillamook County. This is just terrific news. It is. And I'm so proud of all the hard work that especially Rachel Haggerty has done on this. Bringing this to fruition, we just need to stay on top of our legislators, and again, what our legislators do for us is truly remarkable. It is. I'm not sure that any other county is getting 2 slots in the omnibus appropriations bill. But we appreciate it so much because this is really instrumental for Tillamook County to continue to move forward. So I just wanted to mention that this morning.
Perfect, thank you for sharing that, Commissioner. I would share what the other commissioners have said as well. Happy holidays. I hope everyone enjoys some peace and some quiet and some time to spend with friends and family and some downtime during this holiday season. The commissioners will not be having a meeting next week, which we'll get into our formal announcements here in just a minute, but I imagine some of you tuned out on that one. So just a reminder that we won't be meeting next week. We will be taking some downtime as well. So we do have an executive session, but prior to that, I'm going to go ahead and read our other meetings and announcements because we do not anticipate making decisions in that executive session that we will need to come back into the meeting for. So with that, I'll just launch in. Here we go with a long list. The Local Public Safety Coordinating Council teleconference scheduled for Monday, December 19th, 2022 at 12 p.m. has been canceled. The Commissioners will hold a board briefing on Wednesday, December 21st, 2022 at 2 p.m. to discuss weekly Commissioner updates. The meeting will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 in the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 736-023-979#. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are observed holidays for Tillamook County. All county offices in the courthouse will be closed on Friday, December 23rd, 2022, and Monday, December 26th, 2022. In addition, the Tillamook County Library, administrative offices in the Jail and Justice Facility, Public Works Department, Community Development Department, Surveyor's Office, and the Health and Human Services Department and clinics will be closed. The State Circuit Court, located in the County Courthouse, will be open on Friday, December 23rd, 2022, and closed on Monday, December 26th, 2022. There is no Commissioners Board meeting scheduled for Wednesday, December 28th, 2022 at 9 a.m. and no board briefing scheduled for Wednesday, December 28th, 2022 at 2 p.m. New Year's Day is an observed holiday for the county and the Oregon State Circuit Court. All county offices in the Tillamook County Courthouse and the Tillamook County Library, administrative offices in the jail and justice facility, Public Works Department, Department of Community Development, Surveyor's Office, the Health and Human Services Department and clinics, and the State Circuit Court will be closed on Monday, January 2nd, 2023. There's a whole second page. Woo! Okay, the Commissioners will hold an executive session on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at 3 p.m. pursuant to ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub I to conduct a performance evaluation. The executive session will be held at the courthouse in the Commissioners Meeting Room 106, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon. The executive session is not open to the public. The Commissioners will attend the fiscal year 2022-2023 Budget Committee mid-year update on Friday, January 6, 2023 at 2 p.m. The meeting will be held at the courthouse in the Commissioners Meeting Room 106, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 736-023-979#. Okay, lots happening and not happening in the next couple of weeks. So with that, we will be going into executive session under
192.6602B and 192.6602A.
Perfect, thank you. So we will recess this commissioner meeting at 11:38 a.m.
Okay.
He will. One of us will forward you the notice about the federal appropriations for broadband.
The 3 million and 2 million?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
perfect,
very
yeah.
exciting, isn't it?
I assume the Wyden and Berkeley, we usually get press flash from them, so maybe on there as well.
Yeah.
So thank you, I'll let them know
Yeah, you're
that.
welcome. It's like your Christmas miracle. Thank you, Will.
Happy holidays to you all.
You too.
You too.
But my doctor said I'm not.
I will.
Yeah,
well, that's what my doctor said.
TCBA is TCBA
Jenny
board
Marston
meeting
does
at
have a
noon
hard
that I
stop
said I would go to, and I couldn't,
today.
I can go
And
send
so
Dan a message and tell her I'm
I
not.
don't know whether we
What
can
can she
shut